Hey gang, DVD Collector back in the movie room, and welcome back to the Movie Reviewers 100, the best collaboration channel on the planet. And I would first like to start off saying I would like to dedicate my video to Sir Ian of Forkerball for not being able to do his video this week, so I stole his title. It's Ron Howard week, by the way, and we're going to talk about Willow. I do own Willow on Blu-ray, but this is a way cooler copy of Willow because I actually met Warwick Davis at Disney. Let's see, what year was that? It doesn't say. 08. So, there's the ticket. A fast pass to meet Warwick Davis. Funny story about this. I was next in line, and the girl in front of me, her camera died, the battery died in it, and I was wearing a t-shirt that said Sith happens, and he motioned for me. He said, you with the dark side, come here. And I walked over and he's like, would you mind taking a picture of this girl and possibly emailing it to her? I said, absolutely. So I did. And before that had happened, the lady in line was telling everybody, just get it signed to move on through. He's not personalizing anything today, the line's too long. But I guess since I did a good deed, I got a good deed back, because he did personalize mine, asked me what my name was, and it says, to James, don't call me a peck, Warwick Davis. So, that's my story of meeting Warwick Davis. Little tiny guy, about a third my size. What was really funny was his hands were the same size as mine. It was really odd. But anyway, great guy. Let's get to this, though. It's Ron Howard week. Ron Howard is one of my favorite directors, definitely in my top 10 favorite directors of all time. Great, great movies. Willow, definitely not one of his best films, in his filmography, but it is one of my favorites. I love the whole fantasy realm part of this. Basically, a quick little about the movie. Willow, the main character, played by Warwick Davis, finds a baby. It's a real life-size baby, and it's said by the village that he needs to return this baby to the humans, and basically that's the whole story. It's basically a movie about good and evil. We see a fairly young Val Kilmer. Like I said, this is directed by Ron Howard. It's written by George Lucas, which is a good thing, because George Lucas can write, he just can't direct. He got lucky with Star Wars. If you guys, that's another day though. Star Wars is a great saga. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but George Lucas is not a director. He's a writer, and he's a phenomenal writer. But anyway, Willow is probably, I don't know if it would be my #1 favorite Ron Howard movie. It might be close. This past year, Rush came out, and if you haven't seen that, even if you're not a racing fan, the cinematography in that movie is absolutely mind-blowing. Willow, not so much. Willow's good. It was good for its time. The special effects are pretty good for the Blu-ray looks amazing. It really does do a lot for it. If I remember right, there's some good special features on that too. Ron, I've had the privilege of meeting Clint Howard. I've never met Ron. Clint was funny. I had him sign Gentle Ben. We talked a little bit about Ron and how Clint will usually show up in the movies. He's not in Willow that I remember. Some of the highlights from Willow are, of course, him meeting Val Kilmer. Pretty good, funny part. The brownie, I think they're called brownies. That's really good. Some of the fight scenes at the end with the magic, they kind of look lame now, but back in the day they looked really good. They were good special effects for then. Warwick Davis is one of those guys that'll pop up in movies, and a lot of times you won't know because he's usually dressed as something like the Harry Potter series, and of course the Leprechaun. But if you want to catch some good Warwick Davis, he's on a lot of shows with Ricky Gervais. I assume that they're good friends, because he's in extras and he's got a show with Ricky Gervais. But Ron Howard's one of those directors that just has a really good eye for visuals. He's a photographer, so he does take a lot of that to the film with him. You know, Willow, it might be my favorite movie, but it's not really a good example of what his cinematography is. Now, I remember back, and I think EJ reviewed Splash this week. I remember back when he was doing movies like that, you know, funnier movies, Splash, Gung Ho, stuff like that. They were, you know, that's the Ron Howard that I really enjoy. But as his career grew, so did his movies, and he started doing, you know, things like the Da Vinci Code. Even if people don't like them, they're still wonderful movies. He does a really good job with them. And of course, Rush. Rush is probably one of the best examples of straight up just cinematography I've ever seen. I watched the special features on it not too long ago, and they have lots of documentaries on there about the cameras and how they used more cameras than they've ever used. And there was, you know, like I think 20 or 30 some cameras on set every day, you know, 10 or 15 cameras just in the car, showing different aspects of the motor, the wheels, the helmets, just everything. So he's a very visual director, and it does show through in a lot of his movies, even back as far as Willow. I guess, you know, he does show a lot of really good shots with what you have. I mean, the greatest part about Willow, not only is it, you know, directed by Ron, you know, he does have a great way with direction, is Lucas's story comes out very well in this movie. You can tell that he's obsessed with this fantasy type stuff, and it just, you know, it's a wonderful story. So I always kind of wish that they would make another one. You know, I don't know nowadays if they would, and I'm sure if Lucas hears this, he's probably already CGing the shit out of something. Luckily, Ron Howard's the director, not him. But that's it. That's Ron Howard week. I do really, really respect Ron. Like I said, he's one of my top 10 favorite directors, and I know his name's attached to Dark Tower series, the Stephen King books. I don't know if that'll ever get made, or if it'll be TV or what. I don't know what he's working on right now, but if you've never seen Willow, you've really missed out. Part of my childhood. I know Ian thinks a lot of it. We've talked before about this movie. I think it's one of those steel books that he throws in my face that he has that I don't have. But his isn't signed. So until next time, guys, watch everybody else's videos and be back next week for whatever the theme is. I know what it is, but I want to keep it a secret unless anybody else tells you. So until then, later.